To get that dog back there.
Thank you, Ciaran. And I'd like to thank the Deputy for raising this matter. It is an important matter, and his commitment in this area is long-standing and well known. The deployment of revenue staff is a matter for the Revenue Commissioners, and I am advised by Revenue that they use a broad range of data, intelligence and analytical technologies to identify and evaluate risk. Insights and intelligence are increasingly important in directing Revenue's attention to and response to risk, including action to confront suspected non-compliance. Compliance and enforcement resources are deployed within regions and districts on a risk priority basis and are designed to maximise effective outcomes having regard to the risk being targeted. Revenue has significant numbers of its staff deployed countrywide, engaged on activities that are dedicated to targeting and confronting non-compliance. These activities include anti-smuggling and anti-evasion, investigation and prosecution, audit, assurance checks, anti-avoidance, returns compliance and debt collection. Over 860 Revenue staff are currently serving in Revenue's Border, Midlands and West region. Revenue's intervention and control role at points of importation and exportation is carried out by officers engaged on enforcement duties and are responsible for the implementation of customs controls. Revenue has an enforcement presence, as required by reference to risk, at all key airports and ports and at other strategic locations throughout the country. As previously alluded to, it places particular emphasis on developing an intelligence-based focus at both national and regional level, deploying resources to areas of highest risk. Enforcement strength at particular locations is augmented as necessary with additional personnel on a risk assessment basis or when particular operations are taking place focused on illegal activity. I am satisfied that compliance and smuggling risks are properly evaluated and addressed and resources appropriately allocated by Revenue. I am also assured that Revenue keeps the matter of risk assessment and resource allocations under regular review. I am advised by Revenue that, as part of its risk-focused approach to the discharge of its role in relation to illegal drugs importations, harbours and inlets along the coastline are monitored and evaluated on an ongoing basis from the point of view of the potential for smuggling. This work is supplemented by Revenue's Customs Drug Watch programme, aimed at encouraging members of the public, coastal and local maritime communities to notify Revenue in confidence of suspect or unusual movements at sea or around the coast through a confidential 24/7 Drugs Watch free phone facility. This is a highly valued and successful programme, as evidenced recently by the seizure of a large quantity of drugs near Lisconnor, County Clare, following a report through the Drugs Watch programme. As regards Revenue's role in protecting society from the importation of illicit drugs, I know that Revenue is active in targeting and combating drug smuggling and in playing its role in conjunction with other relevant agencies in combating this criminal activity. As a stakeholder in the Government's National Drug Strategy, Revenue plays an important role in implementing the supply reduction pillar. Strategic and operation plans, which are managed on a national basis, are in place to ensure Revenue meets its commitments under the strategy. And the ongoing commitment is bolstered by the deployment of 2 Revenue customs cutters, 2 large-scale X-ray scanners, several mobile scanners and drugs detector dogs teams. Revenue works closely with other agencies in the state, including on Garda Síochána and the Naval Service, as part of the Joint Task Force on Drugs Interdiction. Revenue also works closely with the Health Products Regulatory Authority in acting against the illegal drugs trade. Revenue also leverages its contacts within international law enforcement agencies to proactively profile drugs trafficking networks. The relevant authorities in the state work closely with their counterparts in Northern Ireland to target organised crime groups that are involved in a range of criminal activities, including the illegal drugs trade. The aforementioned works to tackle cross-jurisdictional organised crime is being supported and reinforced by the establishment, in the framework of a Fresh Start, the Stormont Agreement and Implementation Plan, of the Joint Agency Task Force, which includes Revenue. Revenue is also actively involved in international fora, including the EU's Customs Cooperation Working Party, Europol and the World Customs Organization, in working together with other administrations, agencies and services to counter trafficking of drugs and drugs precursors. I am satisfied with the priority afforded by Revenue to tackling tax evasion and illegal activities such as drug smuggling, and with its risk-focused approach to the deployment of resources. I am also satisfied that it is fully focused on leveraging its cooperation with other state international agencies and organisations to identify and tackle risk.
Thank you, Minister.
Just to conclude, if I may, Ciaran, the Minister supported the provision of additional resources to Revenue at its requests in budgets 2015, 2016 and 2017. And this has facilitated the allocation of staff to tackling non-compliance in all its guises. Thank you.
Okay, we've just a little over 2 minutes remaining, so maybe a minute each. Deputy, if you would.
Thanks very much indeed, Yes. First of all, thank you very much indeed for your reply, Minister. But I'd like to want to reiterate the fact that I firmly believe that the customs officials in the border Midlands region should have the relevant tools and resources to tackle the drug smuggling. Because on this basis, I am calling on the Department to increase the amount of funding available to revenue in order to enable it to increase its personnel and its capabilities in relation to combating drug smuggling along the west coast of Ireland. In my opinion, we need customs drugs officials based in Killybegs and Knock Airport as a matter of urgency, and they need the equipment to be able to conduct their work sufficiently. We also need a new drug dog at Knock Airport, and we need additional customs cutter boats operating along the west coast of Ireland. And secondly, Minister, I would like to ask that you believe that the Irish state is doing enough currently to protect our coastline and our airports from the illegal importation of drugs and other counterban with the current system in place. As you, and I am worried that we are not winning the battle with these drug gangs, and if so, then you will have to agree with me that when I say that urgent thought should be given to revenue to the establishment of a new unit similar to CAB, headed up by customs, to target vast quantities of drugs coming into this country. A combined approach between Garda, customs, naval officers, fishermen, radio control towers would be Deputy. A crucial first step to increase our efforts in this regard.
Thank you. Minute to conclude, Minister.
Thank you, Can Corla. Just to reiterate that the Minister for Finance is happy to support any case that revenue might make for additional resources, including for dealing with the implications of Brexit, of course, over the next couple of years. The Deputy has provided specific information which he thinks would assist revenue, and I know that revenue would be happy to receive it. In particular, the issues that were raised insofar as sea access to the west is concerned, the Killybegs Deepwater Port, the two issues that were raised in relation to Knock Airport, and also the issue that was raised in relation to Ireland West Airport. I'll provide information as provided by the Deputy to me to revenue, and I would ask that he do the same, and in relation also to the ideas that were raised insofar as how revenue's abilities can be enhanced in this area. I think that information or those ideas would be welcomed by revenue as well. Thank you, Councillor.